for peace. I've got thick skin and an elastic heart, but your blood's my bit too sharp, like a rubber band until you pull too hard. Yeah, I'm messed up and move back. You won't see me falling apart. 'Cause I've got an elastic heart. Yeah, oh, 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 yeah. Oh, I've got an elastic heart. And I will stay up through the night. Hey, let's be clear, won't close my eyes. And I know that I can survive. I will walk through the fire to save my life. And I want my life so bad. Been doing everything I can. Yeah, not one bites the dust. Yeah, it's hard to lose a chosen one. You did not break me. I'm still fighting for peace. I got thick skin and an elastic heart. And your blade, it might be too sharp. I'm like a rubber band until you pull too hard. I may snap and I move back. You won't see me fall apart. Oh, no, 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 no. 'Cause I've got an elastic heart. 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 Come on. I've got thick skin and an elastic heart. Yeah, your blade, it may be too sharp. I'm like a rubber band until you pull too hard. I may snap and I move back. You won't see me fall apart. 'Cause I've got an elastic heart. Don't cry no more, my dear. Don't you cry no more. I'll be waiting here, my dear. I'll be at your door. Do you hear me knocking? Do you hear my drum to draw you from your fortress that's been overcome? 'Cause you've been hiding in the shadows of the rubble and debris, and you're still living through a battle. It's been done for many weeks, but listen for the sounds of restoration coming from the streets. Let it remind you you're still alive. Yeah, there's still life up in them bones. Don't dwell on the casualties. Oh, your heart was meant to roam, so watch the company you keep. They will drag you under where the dead are found. Don't give in to slumber. Press on through the higher ground, 'cause you've been stranded in the valley of the hopeless and the dead, and you're still haunted by the ghosts who left you stuck there where you stand. But may these words bring revelation, lifting you up out this wretched land. Yeah, let it remind you you're still alive. Hey.
Three, two, one. What's up, everybody? That's right. It's Tuesday night. We're alive. You're alive. We're going to have a little conversation. This is episode 92 of the Young Lion podcast. 92. And ready, John? You are watching Young Lion TV.
Young Lion, young lion. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, everywhere I look, they're dying. Everywhere I look, they're dying. Young lion, won't you get up and stop fighting? Everywhere I look, they're hiding. Young lion.
That's right, episode 92, and yesterday was Martin Luther King Day. So we're going to do a little bit talking about that. Jake wants to show a little bit of the I Have a Dream speech. Everyone knows that speech. but they haven't seen the whole. I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing.
I don't know if I.
I mean, I don't think we're gonna watch.
We're not gonna watch the whole thing. Definitely not.
But yeah, there's some good stuff, man. Like, I was crying.
And how many years ago was that?
I think it was 19. I think that was 1963, but I might be wrong.
So almost what, 60 years ago? Almost 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were messing around with the red lights last time, but we were like, it's too Joe Rogan-y, right? Because
Yeah.
he has
Yeah,
that
Joe
red set.
Rogan.
Because it matches with the Young Lion colors, like Young Lion TV colors, but it
Look
looks
at them. They're trying to be like Joe Rogan.
exactly. So we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it blue.
I was right. 1963, August.
August
28th, 1963.
Man,
It does look a little purple though.
Does it look purple?
Yeah.
Jake always remembers dates and stuff, man.
I know,
So
he's good with that
numbers.
stuff. Real quick, shout out to everyone who's watching. What's up, Emma? What's up, Mike Lopez? Kathleen Styles, how you doing? Carmen Martinez gave the fire emoji because you was watching that. She gave that during My Dear. That's for some reason that video barely ever comes up in our standby screen. Like
Because John always want to play.
John always plays it from Elastic
Who
Heart.
am I?
Well,
A lot of people like that song.
we just did things last minute, and
I sent you that too, Jamie, the video. just
Okay.
so you know.
Paul Horner said, "What's up, fellas? What's up, Paul?
What's up, Paul?
Happy Tuesday, everybody. You know, Tuesday night is our Young Lion TV night where we stream live from True Sound Studios, our studio here in Camden, New Jersey. And I got Moan with me. I got Jake with me.
What up?
And John, and Rachel on the production. Bam. With the nice,
BZM.
the nice TV.
the nice
That's a nice-
tint. You got the nice tint going on there. I like that.
Yeah.
Add in some new features.
Yeah. Well, we trying
Trying
to.
to spice things.
Look bluish, look purplish.
Got to use an iPhone 12. Add something.
It
Yeah.
doesn't look like that on here.
Yeah.
It looks
what on there?
It looks bland on my phone.
That's the way they see it. Yeah. But yeah. So how's everybody doing?
It's not so bright.
How was y'all weekend? What have y'all been up to? Haven't really seen everybody since I saw you on Sunday. You and John. But
Yeah. I didn't do anything. I just stayed with the family, prayed.
yeah.
I took the kids out, practiced soccer with them because they wanted me to. And I gotta get Jakey to kick right. Like
What do you mean?
His from the side, like really be able to pass right.
Okay.
So
He's
we were going
still
over that.
kicking with the front of his foot.
He kicks with like the front and like the top,
Okay.
but to really get him to like pass accurately.
Yeah.
So we were doing that, and I was doing it with.
And Noah
What
was
all of
doing Noah was doing travel already, right?
He made a EDP team. His
What does that stand for those of us that don't know?
I don't know what the acronym stands for, but they travel. It's a league. There's a travel league, and then there's an EDP league.
Okay.
It's like a separate thing, and there's levels to that. There's EDP 3, 2, and 1, or whatever. But he has a pretty good coach. His main coach is a guy who got drafted first round to the MLS. He played for like almost a decade
Nice.
for Columbus. I forgot exactly what team it is, but he knows what he's talking about.
That's what's up.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah,
I
so
was.
it's a good opportunity for him
Cool.
to learn from somebody other than his fake soccer coach who YouTube everything.
Hey man,
Me.
You learn from us too.
Yeah, I learned the game from you guys.
A lot of like spades, right? A lot of Jake yelling at you.
Yeah. I'm a pretty good spades player now because of that.
Yeah, I've learned from that too, yelling at people.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
But that's why I'm going over because Jakey's playing travel. So
Okay.
Oh, nice.
yeah, I'm trying to get some things down.
All right.
But
So
Moan, what happened, bro?
What do you mean?
I mean, you weren't here last week.
he was sick.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I was a little, under the
You
weather.
had, you had the COVID.
Well, I
He
never.
Oh,
we don't.
he doesn't know
Yeah,
because
I
he
don't-
didn't get tested.
I don't know, but
But
I've been.
Stan had it.
No,
Stan
he
didn't get
doesn't know
tested either. His wife did.
His wife had it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he had basically the same symptoms as she did, right?
I think so. And I had the same symptoms as him.
Yeah.
And I'm always around Stan. Like
Right.
I work out with him at least, 4 to 5 days a week. So
Okay.
I just, treat it like I had a cold or flu or whatever.
Yeah.
But it didn't hit me too bad. The Tuesday, I worked out. I was talking to Jamie and John. I was in the gym by myself. Stan was still recovering. I felt strong. But as soon as I got in, as soon as I was about to leave, it just smacked me in my face. And then the whole day was like a struggle trying to, I'm lifting like a 40-pound box, and it took everything out of me.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You definitely feel the aches.
Yeah.
Body aches.
My back was hurting.
Yeah. Doesn't it
had
feel like you
stomach
got
cramps.
like real back pain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
But
That's strange.
after 2 days, I was fine.
Yeah.
But I had a headache,
Mm-hmm.
dealing with a headache. But other than that, I was,
Well, we're glad you're doing better. We were praying for you. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
yeah,
Always
thank you.
praying for everybody.
And that's the key. That's the key,
Yeah.
prayer.
And I want to show this picture that you sent me because this is, you said it was a picture of a shirt that you liked.
I didn't like.
Oh, you didn't like
I didn't like.
Okay.
God
Well,
is-
just because it's not that I didn't like it,
Let's talk about it.
but that's why I sent it, because it's like, is God in control?
Right.
And I think that's people's default for a lot of things, like not to deal with stuff in life. Like, well, I've been hearing that so much. Well, God's still on the throne.
Yeah.
I
I have been hearing
it's like,
everybody say
okay.
that. Yeah.
But what you got to get to the throne too, right?
Right.
Of course he's still on the throne, but in order for us to, like, if God was in control of everything, then why are people dealing with so much suffering? And,
Yeah.
Why are kids getting molested and sex trafficking? Like,
Yeah.
if God was in control, why?
God is in control, but we still have free will to ruin shit. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like we
We can
Well,
control
yeah.
our.
you know what I'm
He had
saying?
to flood the
Right.
earth before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
we can
like-
control it ourselves. So.
Yeah. It's about what are you willing to do to,
It's like an excuse to be lazy.
yes, I see that too.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
an excuse to not do anything, to just, well, God's got it,
Yeah.
to not change anything, to not like, to not do any work, not seek anything, not learn anything, you know what I mean?
But then you care about things that you shouldn't care about. Like, that's what we were talking about last week. You weren't here, but like, how Jesus is on the water and he's sleeping, like he don't care. He's sleeping, and the
During the storm.
and the disciples like, don't you care that we're gonna die?
Yeah.
Don't
They're
you care?
don't you
We're
care?
gonna
in
drown.
fear.
Why don't
And
you care?
that's, people want you to care about what they care about.
Right.
But do we
But
care about what God cares
That's what we're
about?
seeing now. It's like
Yeah,
everyone
exactly.
is trying to tell you, you have to care about this,
Yeah.
or
How do we put a stop to this? How do we control this?
right?
And that's why you see stuff like Germany, what's happening,
Yeah, yeah,
and even states over here, California.
right.
People trying to control things too much.
Cuomo was trying to do that in New York. Cuomo was
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to put a bill together to, be able to detain people that were considered a health risk.
Our governor, Murphy.
Yeah.
Did you hear he just he wiped out Attila's bank account?
Yeah.
Is that legal?
They raised like $173,000 to fight all. They have all these like
legal battles.
legal
that's
battles
going
because
on.
of the citations and everything that they got from opening their gym. And they raised money. From people that care about
Donations,
their cause. They raised money and they had like $173,000, and Murphy just like seized
Straight
their
up
money.
wiped that out.
Like,
Wow.
he's on a mission to just destroy them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's something that we need to pray about,
Mhm.
because there's a lot of corruption. That's the thing. Like, if God was in control, why would there be people trying to get justice their own way?
Yeah.
Controlling justice and trying to get it their own way if God was in control.
Yeah.
But God can be in control,
Yeah.
but we gotta let him be
we
in
gotta
control.
let him be in control.
And that's
Right.
the thing. That's what I think a lot of people don't comprehend, and why so many people voted for a Biden who, you know, when you look at what he's about, which you gotta, you do just a little bit of research, you can see the policies he's trying to put forth and the people he's trying to put in.
Not just him, the whole power behind him, everything that they're trying to push.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You look at all the all of the like things that he's planning his first 100 days and all the things that he's talking about pushing through. It's like, wow, like how do you reconcile that with you saying that you believe in God? Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. I just saw somebody he put in his cabinet or whatever. The first trans woman
Oh yeah.
from Pennsylvania. I just feel like that's like
Paul said, welcome back, Moon. You next, Jamie. Nah, yo, don't put that on me. Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
He's been zinking it
I've been
up.
taking my zinc and my
You're the only
vitamin
one.
D.
Well, you and John, because
No,
Yo.
Rachel too. Hey, Rachel.
I was talking to
true.
James about that. Talking
I'm
about
staying
that.
safe.
I've been ever since I had a conversation with you about 2-3 weeks ago
Yeah,
about taking vitamins. I've been on it.
yeah.
So that's maybe why I'm
Why you got
Was
over
good-
it faster?
was
Yeah,
good
it helps
after,
your immune system, man. They
you know.
say that like it's a good. That doc. Did you watch the Joe Rogan?
I watched
Podcast?
some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so he had
Not
a
the whole thing, though.
He had just the part that he was talking about, like the vitamins and stuff. But he was talking about the things that you take to as preventative, like to help you in cases where the flu and other illnesses can creep in. Like these vitamins are what most people are deficient of that get hit the hardest by these.
was one of them
illnesses.
vitamin D?
Vitamin
Because that's
D.
one that like I always hear about.
It's a major
Zinc.
Trickery, yeah.
zinc, and
Zinc.
I have
but
to
he-
take vitamin D every day because of my genetic disorder.
Yeah. So vitamin D and zinc are the main ones, but the thing that he was saying was there's this other vitamin called quercetin or quercetin. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Quercetin.
But that the
Oh, he put it on here, Paul.
oh, he did.
Vitamin D, zinc, elderberry,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah. But the quercetin, the properties in it make it so that the zinc is actually more absorbable.
Okay.
So you
yeah,
take-
because that's the
yeah.
issue,
Yeah.
and even the vitamins, like you got to look because
Right.
some of them are very low grade.
Yes, you got to look at the how much what is it called, the units that you need to look at. too.
Yeah.
But and you got to look at what you eat with it to make it more soluble. You know what I mean? All that matters. You know.
You can't be eating fried chicken.
Yeah, right. That's
Going
the other
back.
thing is that I'm trying to get on this workout. I've been working out a little bit
Yeah.
now,
Have
like
you?
trying to lose all this weight I put on over this COVID. Man.
I gotta start working out.
Sheesh.
I've been, doing some fasting and stuff.
Yeah.
and trying to eat healthier, but I gotta start working out. I just been in the Bible so much
Yeah.
that it's like I've been doing that a lot. But Mom said, when people say, "Lord, come quickly," but there's people that need the Lord.
Yeah.
So, and then Paul Horner said, exactly, it's free will. It's a free will world. Free will world. Gotta say that 3 times. We're supposed to be co-creators with God and not use his name to cop out. Yeah.
Yo, and shout out to Paul because Paul been hitting me up on Telegram. Y'all should get on there, by the way.
I
Telegram.
don't even know what that is.
It's another like social media app, another messaging app, but there's like these whole channels on there of people that like have a lot of good information. He's been sending me some stuff.
Okay.
And it's a whole different thing though. You got to get used to. So I haven't really got a chance to dig into it yet.
Right.
But it seems like a nice alternative to a lot of these like these Twitter and Instagram and Facebook like and what they're doing now with trying to eliminate their competition.
Yeah.
Like that's what they're doing. That's what like
Eliminate
Parler
conservative.
got banned off of those all of the providers, and then Jack Dorsey tweets about Signal being the number 1 app in the App Store, but it was only number 1 because Parler got eliminated. You know what I mean? So it's like they're eliminating their competition.
Yeah, and then I know you've seen some of the stuff that Project Veritas.
Yeah, those
put out.
videos.
Yeah, with
Vidya and
right.
Jack Dorsey.
Was she the vice?
She's one of the executives. I just remember her because the first time I ever saw Tim Pool was when
She was
he
on that.
debated them two on Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, right, yeah.
And it was, and Jack Dorsey brought his bulldog with him, so to answer all the legal
Dude,
questions.
it's so funny how they talk.
Yeah,
Because they use a lot of like
it's that corporate language.
yeah, and it's very like I'm trying to get it's like a certain language where the way they talk is very subtle and they know how to make it very
They come off as nice.
nice. It sounds
Yeah.
nice.
It comes from a place of the moral high ground.
yeah.
That's what it is. It's like this fake righteousness that they're speaking from.
Right. And it's so like if you just listen to the tone of what they're saying,
Yeah.
you'd be like, "Oh, they're really nice." Like,
Yeah.
but when you actually
they really care about people.
yeah, but when you listen to
Yeah.
what they're doing,
right.
it's like, "Yo, these
Yeah.
are some
This is yeah.
some
It's
devils
so,
right here."
Yeah.
It's so hypocritical, man. Like how they just can ban somebody like Trump,
Yeah.
but there's like extremists on Twitter that still have their account. That's
But
not
that's the
banned,
thing,
that,
like-
that incite violence, like real violence.
Dude, they've been doing it for years now. Like
Yeah.
Shout out to Tia.
yeah, shout out to Tia.
What up, Tay?
How you doing?
Yeah, so I want to say something about that.
Hey, everybody share the video too. If you
Yeah,
haven't shared
share.
it yet,
Please.
please share.
I want to say that we already know what's going on.
Yep.
And this is something that God has really been. I put something up about it today, like something He
I
gave
saw
me
it.
about. Don't get drawn into that,
Right.
Because that's the trick.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that subtle thing that it doesn't seem fair, but they don't play fair.
Yeah.
Nope.
The devil don't play fair. You
Yeah.
know, and it's not. We don't war against flesh and blood. So
Stop expecting a liar to tell the truth.
yeah, right.
It's not gonna happen.
Right.
It's not gonna happen. You have to just know what it is and then
You gotta let it. You gotta let it go.
Let it go.
You gotta,
You
let,
gotta
it go.
let it go.
It's not that you don't stand up for what's right, but I think first you gotta humble yourself and not want to do it out of yourself.
But the thing is, there is thousands and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of users on Twitter that are pissed off at what they're doing. Stop using it. Cancel your account.
Right.
And then let that hit their stock has been falling. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, people just cancel their account.
stop using it. It was Twitter was about to die before Trump. That's the thing that people don't understand. Like they used Trump to blow themselves up again.
Right.
Because people weren't using Twitter anymore. Twitter became this place where like journalists just were circle jerking all the time about stories and things that they wanted to talk about.
Gotta use that lingo.
Circle jerk.
It's just a figure of speech. It's just like they were
a not so good figure of speech.
Well, they
What's
were-
up, Melanie?
they were all just like
It's a nasty.
they're all just it's I mean it's from both sides. It's like a bunch of right wing people will all communicate with each other and decide.
Yeah.
Can we mute this microphone? Will decide like this is what we're going to focus on, and then like all of the communist ones will and it just becomes this whole we hate each other thing, and Twitter just became a place for that. So people weren't using it. It was all these journalists on there and celebrities, and it was dying.
Yeah.
But then when for some reason in 2016 when Trump announced he was running and then he was tweeting like crazy, it became like everyone went there to see what he was going to say, and the news.
If you hate him or you love him.
Yeah, and Jack and all of them knew that, and they used it to make Twitter this place again. And then as soon as they don't need it anymore, they get rid of them.
Yeah. Well, they had to. They had to do it now because of the plans.
Yeah,
What are
And
they gonna do now? Because Trump's out of office. Like CNN.
Dude,
what are they gonna talk about?
now it's about making everyone.
they're gonna focus on the people.
Yeah, exactly. The focus is now on the people and anyone. They got 74 million people that still voted for him, so they got to focus on them now. They're the bad guys. You already see it happening. I saw an article today that was like, it said something about see if you can find this.
I have somewhere to plug in and I don't start messing with anything over here.
Okay, I'll see if I can find it. But it was something about it was something about that, like, people of color are the new whiteness or something like that. It was an article, I think it was from the New York Times or something, where they're trying to show that, like, because all of these, they can't explain how all of these, like, Latin American people, Indian people, Asian people, black people voted for Trump. So they're trying to explain it off where, like, whiteness can come in any color now. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
Yeah, but those are the tricks that you can't fall into,
Right.
Because everything's going to be spun. It's
Mhm.
always going to be spun because that's the trickery, you know. And I think, like we were saying, it's the you got to be able to walk through that Dead Sea or that Red Sea, that Dead Sea.
Right.
You got to be able to walk through it when you got all the chaos going around you, and you can't do it when you're engaging.
Right.
You know, when you're drawn into that battle. That's not a battle for you to fight. And we fight by just standing in what God's shown us, but we can't fight in what God's shown us if we're not seeing anything because we're not entering in, you know. And that's that place that, of course, the enemy wants you to be in. He wants you to be in a place where you're not entering in.
Right.
You know, where you can't enter in because you're always engaging.
Trying to see if I can find this article just to show y'all exactly what I was talking about. Oh, and then this, I'll show y'all this clip real quick because this is CNN. This is CNN literally complaining about
I saw it.
how they can destroy their competition because all of these, you got people like Tim Pool, people
Pool
like,
getting more ratings for the
yeah.
I heard about them talking
Yeah.
about this. I didn't see it, though.
So here, I'll play it.
News.
So Brian Stelter, of course, on CNN, his show, which is a hilarious, ironic name, Reliable Sources. He's talking to a bunch of people about how do we stop these extremists, and all of these words are, they carefully craft these trigger words to evoke emotion out of people. Extremists, terrorism, insurrection. You know what I mean? So this is let's take a listen to it. Got to unmute the channel, John. Or
to work Facebook as well as Twitter and others.
It's really hard because
Information crisis that has been perpetuated, in my view, by platforms like the one we're used to work, Facebook, as well as Twitter and others.
it's really hard because what's happening is people are able to seek out the information that makes them feel good. That is what's happening, is that people have so much choice now. They can choose what their news sources are. They can choose what influencers they want to follow,
and we only want them to choose us.
Yeah, right.
Basically,
they
is
can
what
try to
he's
seal out anything that helps them question that. And I think that gets to a really core issue with how our freedoms as Americans and the way we've treated press freedom in the past is being abused by these actors. In that we have given a lot of leeway, both in the traditional media and on social media, to people to have a very broad range of political views. And it is now in the great economic interest of those individuals to become more and more radical. And I think that one of the places you can see this is on the fact that you now have competitors to Fox News on their right, OANN
Yes.
and Newsmax, which are carried by all the major cable networks, who are trying to now outflank Fox on the right, because the moment Fox introduced any kind of realism into their reporting, immediately a bunch of people chose.
You hear that?
Realism.
And as soon as Fox started agreeing with us more, that becomes realism.
To put themselves into a sealed ecosystem. And they can do that both on cable, they can do it online, and that becomes a huge challenge of figuring out how do you bring those people back into the mainstream of fact-based reporting and try to get us all back into the same consensual reality.
And can you? Is that possible? Seems like that's an open question.
It's hard. I mean, I think we got to do a couple things. One, there needs to be an intentional work by the social media companies collaborating together
All
to
right,
work
I
on
think we've
violent
seen
extremism
enough.
in
Oh,
the same way
hold on.
they worked on ISIS. When I started at Facebook in 2015, the #1 challenge from a content perspective was the abuse of social media by the Islamic State. And there was a collaboration between the tech companies and between the tech companies and law enforcement to make it impossible for them to use the internet to recruit and radicalize mostly young Muslim men at the time around the world.
They're
Now we're
comparing
talking about domestic audience in the United States.
conservatism
And
to
the challenge is
Right.
going to be partially that
Islamic.
ISIS did not have a domestic
To ISIS.
constituency.
This is what
in
they're
the
doing.
United States Congress.
This is why I want to show
But
this.
There is over half of the Republicans in Congress voted to overturn the election, and there will be a continual political pressure on the companies to not take it seriously. So I think first you have to focus on those violent extremists, and those companies have to be brave in that way. And second, we have to turn down the capability of these conservative influencers to reach these huge audiences. There are people on YouTube, for example, that have a larger audience than daytime CNN, and they are extremely radical and pushing extremely.
And we can't have that. Anyone that has a larger daytime audience than CNN,
Yeah.
we can't have that.
Radical views. And so it's up to the Facebooks and YouTubes in particular to think about whether or not they want to be effectively cable networks for disinformation.
So this is what's been going on as far as like social media, YouTube, all these things are concerned over the last, since Trump got elected. It gave them an excuse. It gave them a reason. We were talking about this at church on Sunday. It gave them a reason to push the envelope further on censorship, because then they could easily say, well, this only happened. Everyone agrees that this is the worst thing ever. This only happened because we let people say whatever they want. Now we have to stop this. And it starts with everyone. It starts with people that everyone can agree on. Right. But the problem is everyone says like, but where do you, like, how do you draw that line? Like it's always going to push further. So first they ban Alex Jones and these like, conspiracy theorists, the people that everyone thinks are crackpots, right? Or the ISIS people, they ban them off of Twitter. But then after that, they need someone else. They need to keep that ball moving. So you just continue to find a new target.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Move that goalpost.
Yeah.
And I think right now, like you see what they're talking about, but then when you go and like they're talking about Tim Pool, then when you go and watch these people, they're just being honest.
Yeah.
They're just being honest in what they're seeing and trying to give you a complete perspective.
Right.
In what they're
trying
seeing.
to be unbiased and honest about what they see. Calling it out on the left, calling it out on the right.
Right.
That's
And
something that I can
has-
appreciate. Even if I don't agree with someone fully on what they think, I can agree. I can
They're
appreciate
attempting.
their attempt to be honest
Right.
and not trying to manipulate me and make me think a certain thing based off of what you want me to believe.
Yeah,
So that
and they can do it a little bit,
Right.
But this is, I'm just gonna lie straight to your face
Right.
and tell you something that's totally not true,
Right.
because we're pushing an agenda,
Yeah.
and that's what's wrong, and that's what's happening in a lot of these places, and they're getting more bold,
Right. And something I like to point out to a lot of people that don't see it now, like it's hard for them to see it now. I always say like, okay, back when Obama was president, it was obvious to you that Fox News was spinning things and exaggerating things and totally only focusing on everything negative because that's their narrative. You know what I mean? Like totally that's what they're doing. You don't think that that's happening now the other way around? Like you could see it then,
but in a way worse way, because with Obama,
I don't know. Is it a way worse way?
Yes, because with Obama, because I used to have to deal with Fox News because people that were I was around, they had it on.
Yeah,
it's not that they lied; it's that they only spoke about things that made it look bad for Obama, when a lot of things he was doing was horrible.
Right.
Like, let's not.
But there's a lot of things that Trump did that I don't agree with as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's I'm talking about policy wise.
But what I'm saying is the same tactic as far as like, okay, Obama's in office, so everyone that voted for this man wants communism. You know what I mean? Fox was kind of like manipulating things in that way as well. You know what I mean? Everyone who voted for, and it's the same. You see it now, like with a lot of conservatives who think that like everyone who voted for Joe Biden just wants communism, is lazy. You know what I mean? Wants socialism. There's a huge portion of the population that's true about, but you can't just paint that broad brush with everyone. That's not how people work, and that's the same thing that people do with Trump supporters. Everyone who voted for Trump,
that's not what I'm
is a
talking
racist.
about, though.
But what I'm saying is they use those tactics.
Yeah.
They use those same methods of like overarching manipulation to rile up their fan base and get views and sell people washer and dryer sheets.
I never heard any, like, remembering, because when I used to live with Mom and Julio, he used to watch Fox. I've never heard them say anything about communism like on a regular basis with Obama.
I heard socialism a lot.
They might have said it.
I heard
they might
them
have
talk
talked
about it,
about
like-
socialism with certain things, but what I'm saying, it wasn't that big of a thing. But in terms of Trump, they're literally lying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're lying about
Right.
things. There is a lot of stuff that Obama did was to the left,
Mm-hmm.
socialist on the social, but I didn't hear it that much. But with Trump, it's a whole nother thing. And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that that's wrong. That's right either.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's not right either.
Right.
Like to turn things one way or another. But it's gotten so bad under Trump.
But I think it's just a symptom of the same tactic, because Fox News realized that, people are going to tune in every day to watch us talk shit on Obama. You know what I mean? And then so now you got the CNNs, the MSNBCs, and the every other news network, NPR, whatever, that realized the same thing about Trump, but to the next level. Like when he was running, they would just play his entire, like, he's the only president I think they've played his entire rallies. Like they would just show his whole rally
because he gets ratings.
He gets ratings.
You know what I mean? It's a different type of thing with Trump.
So I think what's happening is like people fall to what people desire.
Yeah.
Right, and then they just they turn that up.
Right.
To draw people in.
Mom, hold on real quick. Mom said we need to wait and see what happens. You're right, Mom.
What she mean?
You're right, Mom. Them troops right now is surrounding they're surrounding the Capitol for a reason. They're about to drag Hillary and Biden out of the trenches, man. There's all these crazy theories going around. Have you heard some of this craziness that people are saying?
Give me one.
My mom is like, just like, I have a inside in the CIA, and this is all just there. This is all set up so that on the inauguration day, Biden's going to get arrested on live TV in front of everybody for all his war, for all of his crimes. Like, it's just like people are I don't know. People are just like, they're attaching themselves to everything, And
that's because they're not, that's what we're created to do.
Yeah.
We're created to attach ourselves to God, but since we don't got that, we're trying to attach ourselves to other things.
Yeah, that's true.
What's up with
but
that?
My mom keeps sharing like all of these videos from these people that are saying they have inside information, but it's like if you look them up, they don't know what they're talking about.
Mom was like, you better be prepared because they're saying the power going to be out for like 2 weeks. I'm like, Mom, that's going to like cripple the economy.
Yeah. People are
I mean, you never know. It could happen.
You never know what could happen, but I'm saying like they've been saying this for the last 3 years. They said this when that first 2 weeks 15 days to slow the spread. I remember like all the cue boards lighting up about, this is when it's going down. They're locking down the whole country because Ellen's going to be in jail.
QAnon.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but they've been like doing this and moving the goalpost. Every time it doesn't happen, they got the next story.
The next Y2K?
Real quick, some of the comments. Saker, what's up, brother? He said, brothers, we need to unite under the name of the mighty as one nation under God. Differences aside, this old discrimination Nazi. I don't know what this old discrimination Nazi. But yeah, I agree. We need to unite. I think people are falling into the trap of being more and more divided over this political system that is all a game to keep us divided, to keep pushing us into a globalist, the Great Reset, the whole Great Reset agenda. We're falling right into the hands of these people that are trying to get that pushed through. He said, brothers, this is not about Trump or Biden. The ultimate goal, the future, I guess he was saying, of our kids and the next generation. Yeah, absolutely. And
it's not about Trump or Biden, but you do got to look at what's going on in the world and in this country, and you got to recognize, if with all the stuff that happened in this election and how clear it was that there was fraud going on, and it was spoken about even before the election,
Right.
because of what was going on. What you see that's straight out of the color revolution.
Right. Allegedly, we're going to say just for Facebook. So,
Allegedly,
Right.
yes.
we don't subscribe to those things. We just saying these are the stories that people are saying.
That's what we heard.
Things that we heard.
Yes.
Because they banning everybody.
But you got to acknowledge what's going on. You can't stay blind to
Right.
it. You can't act like it's not there. You can't have unity in a false way, because then you're just going to cause more. Like, what is unity? It's agreement between two people.
Right.
Right. Story from the Bible, because this is what I've been seeing. Jezebel.
Right.
A Jezebel is a foreigner who comes into Israel, and they make agreement with a foreigner, and then you take on those foreign characteristics. All Jezebel does is want to rise to the top.
Right.
Jezebel's name literally means to is actually Baal-zebel, because but they changed it. They changed stuff in the Hebrew,
Right.
like to fit what they want. So Baal-zebel means to be exalted by Baal, but they changed it to unexalted, or even like there's a phrase, without covenant, or without desire, or but desiring everything that a covenant brings. So it's about like taking what you got, or taking your inheritance, swindling you out of your inheritance.
Yeah.
And if you look what's happening, that's everything in this country, all the institutions, they become corrupt because of Jezebels, or something that wants to rise to the top for their own personal gain. So a Jezebel is a foreigner that comes in to take away what you got,
Right.
for its and destroy it along the way. Because that's what happened. She wanted to destroy it, but she was killed.
Right.
And it speaks about it in Revelations 2. Revelations 2.
Right. I know what you mean.
Also,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's a key there with Jezebel. It's funny because I was thinking about this: foreigner, stranger,
Right.
strange fire, strange light. When does Jezebel come in? When you're in the dark.
Yeah.
When you need understanding.
Right.
So then you get something that comes in so that you can
right.
unite with it, so that you can agree with it.
Right.
So everybody, peace, love,
Right.
unity, it all sounds good.
Yeah.
And it all makes sense. And that's how Jezebel gets in.
Right.
Because it's about something that wants to exalt itself, that's really not for you.
Right.
But it's going to act like it's for you until it gets to the top, and now it's
Right.
going to rule over you. That's what it's about, and that's what you're seeing. Y'all don't see what's
Kinda like
happening.
communism.
Kind of like communism.
Yeah.
Kind of like what China's doing.
Right.
China is going into countries, buying them up with their fake money,
Right.
and getting in.
Right.
I have a solution for you. Here's my solution. I'll
Yeah.
give this to you.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
doing it in America.
We'll build you guys roads. We'll build you schools. We'll build
Street
up all
lights.
your infrastructure.
Yeah.
You're
It's
going to all
not-
the third world countries.
It's not a war where they're going to come in with guns.
Yeah.
It's a war where they slide in
Right.
through agreement.
Yeah.
And that's the unity, like, because you can't just say, like, it sounds good to say
Right.
unity, peace, love.
And that's what I think people don't understand. Like this, the government is not gonna forcibly take control over us, like in a way where it's like military shows up and everyone's locked in their homes. No, they're gonna make you agree to it little by little, based off of
making it the new normal.
Yeah, based off of fear of getting illness, fear, just wanting to go back to normal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fear of, your safety. They get the Patriot Act passed. They get all of these COVID, we basically went into a communist state through COVID because they forced us not to go to work and then said, we're going to give you free money from the government that we paid through taxes. It's like forced communism that we accepted because we were in a position where we had to. That's the tactics of Jezebel.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I don't want to address this. Jennifer Gaddy says with Trump, it has brought out a lot more hatred towards different races. It was divided. It was divided our unity, or I guess it divided it was dividing our unity. We are all God's children and bleed the same color. Okay, that's true, but it's not true because it's only true because you sound like you've been listening to a lot of CNN. This is what they give you.
Right.
They put it on Trump, but that's what a Jezebel does.
Right.
A Jezebel says, "Oh, you gonna try and raise yourself up? I'm gonna turn it on you."
Right.
That's what Elijah said. How long you think Elijah, who was a prophet of God, went in the midst of 450 prophets of Baal who Jezebel installed, which is contrary to God,
Right.
and said, because everybody, it sounds good, we're children of God, but if you got to know what God wants, you can't just say those things and not know what God wants. You got to bring division so
Right.
that people can come to the right side. You got to draw a line. God is a God of law. If you're not following the right law, you can't come over to the right side because you don't know what side to really go on. So you're going to choose the wrong side.
Right.
And what did he say to the people when he went against the prophets of Baal? He said, "How long will you falter between two opinions?" That's the raging seas. The raging seas are all the races of the nations that rage. That's the raging nations. They rage. And if you don't have wisdom, if you lack, then you're going to be like the waves of the sea, tossed to and fro. That's from James 1.
Right.
You know, these things are all in the Bible for a reason.
Yeah, but the people they're not focused on. Like when we go to church, the Bible is there's little sections that are the main focus because it's like, let me keep you here and keep you just, you know.
What did Jesus said? I came to bring the sword.
Yeah.
I come to divide families.
Right.
Husbands from wives.
Right.
Brothers from sister, whatever. He came to divide because you got to die to his sword so
Right.
that you can rise. And that's your own. I know it's scary. It's scary, to think about these things that are happening.
Right.
But once we start really trusting in God, it's not scary anymore.
And the other thing is like, you know, it's easy. People have been kind of brainwashed and programmed to be given a bad guy to look at, and Trump has been that guy for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
But they don't. When you're given that bad guy to focus on, you don't see the other side of the manipulation where it's like, yo, you don't. They've been dividing us into race classes since even before that. You know what I mean? Like when all this identity politics and all this stuff started during Occupy Wall Street, when they started like saying, well, you know, the oppression, the oppression Olympics and who's more oppressed than the other one.
That's
all
division.
That is division. And
Before that, I mean, you have Lyndon Johnson who's saying he wants to bring people together, right? And this is after, this is around the time of Malcolm X died and Kennedy had died already. And then you had Martin Luther King. He didn't die yet, but you had Lyndon Johnson come in and act like he's trying to unite.
Right.
But really, he's just trying to shut the monkeys up.
Right.
And he literally said that in his own way. So I mean,
Lyndon Johnson, a lot of people don't know, he was a known KKK member.
Well, I don't know if he was a KKK, but I know he was racist.
No, I'm pretty sure he was.
Okay.
But yeah,
Look it up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, he's the one that created the entire welfare state of this country and said, I'm going to have these Negroes voting Democrat for 200 years based off of implementing welfare systems. You know what I mean?
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Sounds good on the surface, but really you're destroying communities because you can't give people what they want. You got to give them what they need.
Yeah.
And you're a bad leader if you're giving them what they want. Just like you're a bad parent if you're giving people what they want and not giving them what they need. And if you, as a person, as a citizen, are not seeking to know what you need, then you're not fit to lead.
Right.
The only way we're fit to lead is if we humble ourselves and be led to the slaughter. That's why Jesus is the only way.
That's right. Melanie was talking about those conspiracies about all of the plans, trust the plan stuff. She said, I heard that too about the 20th, talking about the 20th. I heard something was going to happen on the 20th. And then she said, I heard that too about the internet. My mom says, I still have hope for America. The last thing President Trump said on his farewell speech was the best is yet to come. Yeah, I love it. Yo, that's the other thing about the Q thing that was just like bugging me out was when I would see how people would they would create this whole narrative based off of something that he said. And it's like, yo, you're reaching. Like so many times it would be like, no, because he said, you know,
he said this at 10:24 a.m.
and he misspelled it because this letter actually means this. And it's like, come on, man, like stop.
Yeah. But that's what happens when it's the same, like if you set your sights on institutions, if you set your sights on, or even set your faith in something lower than God, you're going to be disappointed every time.
Right. And I think a lot of people got tricked by that trap with Trump, like where it's like, he's going to save us.
Yeah.
He's going to save, or whoever else.
But isn't that lazy to think like that?
Yeah, that's the lazy. Same as God's still in control.
They looked at him like God.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people did.
Right.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Trump was there to bring some stability to this country, to stand in the way of what could have happened a lot earlier.
Right. What the plan was.
Yeah. For
Hillary to get in, and I mean, we were already halfway sold out, and Biden is already making those moves. You know what I mean? He's already appointing people that are gonna get us back in wars with Syria and all the Middle East stuff that we've having. Like someone put up a chart showing all the wars that we've been in from all the way since Reagan, and every president, like 5-6 wars. You know what I mean? 5-6 like serious engagements, a lot of them in the Middle East. Only 0, Trump. You know what I mean?
He brought peace. That nobody talks about.
Of course, because he's a racist. So this is
nobody talks about that. But remember, the thing was, let's have peace in the I wish for peace in the Middle East.
Yeah.
You got a guy who brought it, but he's vilified.
Well, we don't know if he actually. Well, I mean, he agreed. They agreed.
They agreed.
They had some agreements. You know what I mean? We'll see.
He
we'll
had
see
more success than the rest of them.
Yeah, he at least brought people to the table. He was at least trying. He tried to take those steps with North Korea that no one was willing to take. He tried to take those steps with China. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And we do need freedom. Saker was talking about that, and I hope I'm saying your name right.
Saker Alatrak.
Yeah. We do need freedom. We need freedom for our family, but freedom comes from God.
Yeah.
We
are the people. Our Constitution, the greatest piece of document that made us special. Now, our never this. What? Covey must go away. Oh, because of COVID, must go away. Need our freedom. Your kids need their freedom. We are tired. When is it enough? Yeah, I mean, there's definitely an assault on the Constitution right now. But the Constitution is only exists
if the people keep it.
Right.
We got to keep what we've been given. You've been given freedom, and so many people, and I'm speaking about myself because I know growing up, I did not appreciate the freedom that I had. I didn't even recognize it because I wasn't taught to.
Right. We were brought up to totally disrespected. There was no reverence for like what this country means, and especially not in our community. Like, and then our dad being black and like just that whole rebellion. Yeah, because he grew up during the civil rights era. Like that whole hurt from all of that. Like he would pass that on to us. Like these white men and like, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole mindset was like, you can't do nothing. The white man is always going to be on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's tough when you grow up under that to break free from that. You know what I mean?
That, I mean, like what happened, especially in the civil rights era, was horrible.
It was horrible.
And
Jim Crow, all of that.
And the injustice.
Yeah.
that happened. And that's why you had people like Martin Luther King who stood up.
Malcolm X.
Malcolm X, I mean, in his own way.
Stokely Carmichael. No, Malcolm X, I mean, he was influenced by the nation and their tactics.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, if Malcolm X wasn't taken out, I think he would have been way more effective than...
I mean, you never know.
You know what I'm saying?
You never know what his
Where
journey,
you see where he was headed.
Yeah, where
You
his
know what I
journey
mean?
could have gone.
Yeah.
But
That's why they dismembered him, right?
Yeah.
but it's sad, but I still have hope for this country.
Of course.
I'm not giving up on this one. I believe somebody's got to stand and uphold the Constitution. That's why we do this show. It's not about the but it's about upholding what? The truth.
Right.
It's about speaking the truth.
Right.
But isn't it tough though? Like, say you're a small business, and your governor is just don't give a crap about the Constitution because you're supposed to be able to assemble.
Yeah, but you got to
And
think
then
about like what
he's forcing cops to enforce laws that's unconstitutional. Like,
but that's because we have
what do we do as
we have
people?
a culture in place that has already given itself over to that idea.
Mm-hmm.
So unless we can take the steps to change that, we're not going to be able to change who we vote in. We're not going to be able to change the mindsets of these people that will take a paycheck over enforcing the rights of the people. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
And how do we change it? We have to trust God. We have to, if we don't know, like, I don't know the answer to everything.
Yeah.
But I know that God has the answer for everything. You know, it's in Him. I should have been living with you.
Right.
What was I fighting for?
Right.
That's a song, by the way. No, nobody knows what I'm talking about. But
we knew what you were talking
we fight for justice, but we don't walk in righteousness. And righteousness and justice is the foundation of God's throne. That's the way we enthrone Him. So what's the first step to righteousness is to turn to Him. You know what I mean? And humble ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then we pray and we die to our own ways. And then justice can come. You
Right.
got to be a lamb before you become a lion.
Right.
How are you going to have the words of God? How are you going to have the words of God if you've never seen Him?
Right.
How are you going to speak the testimony of God if you've never seen Him? Right? How are you going to speak truth if you've never known Him? He said it. You know the truth, and the truth sets you free.
Right.
But if you don't know Him and you're just speculating because you read some Bible verses, then you can't. There's no unity there, you know. And true unity comes from Him. So if we shift and humble ourselves, stop complaining about this, and this,
Or judging everybody
and judging
else,
everybody,
being mad at them, they're the enemy. That's what keeps us divided.
Right.
Because they constantly are showing us who the enemy is.
right?
And
We can see it,
Right.
but how do we deal with it?
Mhm.
We gotta humble ourselves.
Right.
You know, humble ourselves. Go to God. He got the answers. Trust in Him.
Sager said it is sad that the greatest nation on the planet, we can't get it together. I think what's happening is you're seeing it in the process. Like last year, there was a lot of ripping off of Band-Aids that were on this nation. They were on people. And
Yeah.
I think you like any situation, it's not going to get better until it gets worse, because things got to get exposed in order for those dark places to be shown so that the light can come in and things can get fixed.
A kingdom divided can't stand.
Right.
A house divided is gonna fall.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
But it needs to be revealed that you're this divided
Right.
in order to mend things.
right.
It needs to be revealed.
And that's where, like, we can't. If I keep speaking about, man, people are blind, nothing's ever gonna change.
Right.
I gotta humble myself.
Yeah.
I gotta love them people enough
Yeah.
to know that there's nothing that I say is going to change them. I got to humble myself
Right.
and lay down my life. What did Jesus?
Was-
There's no greater love
Right.
than that you lay down your life for your friend. If you say you love somebody, if you say you really want unity, then stop speaking about everything they're doing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't show what's going on in the world, but go and seek God so that you can get the understanding to bring
Right. And continue
people
that.
into community.
Continue to find where you're blind.
Yeah.
Right?
So-
That's the whole point.
because-
We're blind because we can't see it.
Right.
If we're sitting here complaining about stuff that people do,
Right.
we're blind.
Right.
Wasn't it Dr. Martin Luther King who said hate can't can't conquer hate with hate.
Yeah.
It's only through love.
Right.
I'm probably,
Something
saying
like that.
saying
Sounds
it my
familiar.
own way.
Sounds familiar.
But he said
Somebody said that.
Can't fight fire with fire, right?
Yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
concept. Like, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. And but that's what we're seeing. Like, man, no matter how much we talk about this stuff, I don't want to be here complaining about
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I want some answers,
Right.
and I'm not going to get them from complaining. You got to show the hypocrisy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like in your house. Like, if I don't talk to my dad and say, Dad, listen, I know you think this, and this, and I love you and I honor you, but this don't make sense.
Right.
So you need to explain this to me.
Right.
And maybe you don't see what he's trying to show you, But if you're like, he's a hypocrite, I'm done with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving my house, I'm out. Like, there's no reconciliation there.
Right.
That's why it says honor your mother and your father. Like, because all that does is divide. If you're just looking at people's flaws, you're not going to see the fullness.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make people on the other side want to change and see what you see. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing. Like, you can't make people see,
Right.
and that's okay. But I know from dealing with people that eventually people do see. They'll change their mind. They'll change their heart. We just got to keep believing for them.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know if you want to go to the...
Yeah, real quick. Tiffany said, what's up? Hey, Tiffany.
Hey, Tiff.
What
She
up?
said, hello, guys. And Tia said, we fight for justification and still don't get peace.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's because we're out of order.
Right. Yeah.
You can't fight for justification if you haven't been justified yourself. And in order to be justified by God, you got to humble yourself. You can't have justice if you don't first lay down your life.
All right, here we go. MLK Day was yesterday, so we're going to rock this. I have a dream speech. This is from for those that don't know, that haven't really done the history or didn't pay attention in school. We all know the part, I have a dream. yeah. But give us the full history behind this, Jake, because you're the best at that.
The best out of us.
Well,
all of us.
It's a lot of cool stuff. He was standing in front of the Lincoln Memorial.
Mm-hmm.
He's connecting that to what Lincoln said in the Emancipation Proclamation.
Right.
And 1963. So if you think it's like almost 100 years since that time.
Yeah. 100 years
Yeah.
since Lincoln, you're saying. Oh, okay.
Since Lincoln, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You said
wait,
1963.
1960,
It's
No,
almost
100 years since
Okay, I got you.
1863.
Right.
And I think it was at that time they were right in the smack middle of the war.
Right.
I think it ended in 1865, right?
Yeah, about 1865. Yeah.
And I
something
might be
like that.
wrong, but
Sure, yeah.
around
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
I trust
Um,
you guys.
But yeah, the Civil War and what they fought for, he goes into that a little bit. So it's just cool how he sets it up, and he's just what I saw from this is that he's honoring Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that we got to come into the fullness of this.
Right.
Like
It's like what we say about the Constitution, because people will say, well, the Constitution wasn't for everybody.
Same thing with the Constitution.
Okay.
He honors the Constitution.
Right.
So
But
yeah,
you just need to come into the fullness of
Right.
it. Right. Okay, let's play it.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr.
Is there visual to this or just
no, it's
the audio?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just the audio.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
So, was he probably the best public speaker ever? Like,
I was just
Just like the
that
way he
line,
could-
I was like, he's
yeah,
He was one of the best. I was doing I heard some stuff about him, and he he went to college. He went to Morehouse College
Mm-hmm.
at 15.
Wow.
Graduated at 19.
Wow.
So he was a smart dude.
Yeah.
He would read the dictionary for fun.
Mm.
So that was like some stuff.
Nerd.
It's a no fun.
Okay, but I just wanted to point that out. Like, I don't think there will ever be, or probably ever was, like a speaker that could just like say one sentence and everyone's hooked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, keep it going.
50 years ago, a great American in whose
I don't want to keep stopping this, but does anybody actually know what score means?
Dude, I was thinking that in my head.
I've always
It's 20 years.
score is 20
20
years.
years.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So when he says
Four
5 score, he's saying 100 years ago.
Exactly.
So he's referencing Lincoln.
Right.
Okay. Cool. I've never known that.
Yeah, and he goes further.
I'm glad you're stopping because I'm thinking the same thing.
Listen, this is I just wanted to. I've never
Thank you,
really
Rach.
known that.
symbolic shadow we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation.
There you go.
This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land. And so we've come here today to dramatize a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir.
Fall air.
This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds.
Listen to what he says. Man.
But we refuse to believe.
For just $67,
Of course.
you can
Stupid ads.
Just going back while we're waiting. It's back.
Yeah, just had to skip it.
We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. And so we've come to cash this check,
Oh,
a check
it skipped-
that will give us
it skipped the
upon
part.
demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice.
So-
There are insufficient funds in the great vaults of
Yeah, before that,
opportunity of
I'll
this
just read
nation.
it. It says, but we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. And that's key. Like, I want to make sure people hear that because, and we refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults
of opportunity
of this nation. And so it's not
he
like
would have been a rapper, yo. His word,
lyricist.
Those bars right there.
So it's not like he's believing in what this country can be.
Right.
He's believing in
he's
what.
He's not tearing the country down.
No.
And saying that, you know, this country is nothing but, you know, white supremacists built off of slavery. He's saying this is the promise of this country, and it needs to be
life,
fulfilled.
liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
And as somebody who's studied in the Word and understands, like, words just have to be shifted to the Word, to Jesus. If they're not, then they're not true.
Right.
If every word that comes out of God's mouth creates this world, is creation, there's keys to that. And if we settle for anything less, even if it's just based off of how we feel life, liberty, and the pursuit of justice is, we're going to be lacking in it.
Right.
And so it's an opportunity for us to have the fullness of what God wants for our lives and not settle for anything less. See, that's the trick. That's what I was talking about with that's the trick with Jezebel. It's to get you to come into agreement with a lesser form of life, with a lesser form of unity, with a lesser form of joy or happiness. It's always the lesser form. But then it's going to come to get its payback, right? Because it's a lesser form, and that's the gap between the enemy that rules in high places, principalities. Where are they? They're in heavenly places, right? And then God, who's above. There's a gap that you can't understand what's going on, and God wants to take that gap away,
right?
But it's not going to be taken away if you don't trust in Him and you trust in the things that sound good, but it's really not His word,
right?
You know, and that's what Jesus came to bring, is to bring back His word. So when He's talking, it's like He's speaking about what can be. That's what prophecy is.
Right.
When people speak prophecy is the testimony of Jesus.
Yeah.
It's who He is. It's who He really is.
Even the part that everyone knows about, when the dream that he's talking about, is he's speaking prophecy. He's speaking about what he can see happening in this nation,
what he sees it can be,
right?
But when we settle in policies that aren't for us, but they seem good at the time,
right,
we're gonna fall away from that.
Right.
Prophecy is something that has to be walked out in faith. Just because you prophesied something or something is prophesied doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
There's so many times in the Bible that it doesn't happen. It's funny because right now we're dealing with people calling people false prophets, but it's only through faith it happens, right? That's why Jesus fulfilled all the law and the prophets, because He literally fulfilled it, because He is the spirit of prophecy. And we can work in that same thing through faith.
Right.
And, you know, this is what He's talking about. So,
but see, this false sense of justice now is the exact opposite of what he was talking
he's
about.
saying, yes.
Because that is continuing to focus in on everyone's race and what that means. It's literally more segregation. It's more oppression based off of, well, you're black, so you have to think like this, and you're Latino, so you have to think like this, but we're all people of color except for Asians now. They've been excluded. They're white now.
I'm white now.
Asians are white. I don't think your type of Asian ain't white.
Hold up.
Like, your type of Asian is Mexican. And then
but look at how you even got to think about that. Like, look at that. See, that's intimidation.
But that's what I'm saying. It's the opposite of what he was talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
there's no intimidation.
Box, huh, John?
You can't check that white box, bro. You got to be either Korean, Japanese, or Chinese. No,
you could identify as white. You could identify as white, right?
You can't. You can't.
They don't even let me check the white box.
I feel like I'm white
non-Hispanic.
So look at what you're saying. That's what is that? That's media.
Right.
That's education, right? Because you got
Those are the institutions.
Right. That's medical, because you got people telling you what to do, and that all these areas this is where God wants to work.
Right.
Not in the church.
Right.
That's one area.
Right.
Right? That's one area, but in all life.
Right.
And if you're looking at somebody and saying, I'm going to put my trust in this institution because he's a doctor and they know everything.
Right.
You don't know, you're not getting the fullness of the word. It's like justice. If somebody's telling you what justice is, now you're going out and fighting for justice, but you don't even know what it is.
Right.
Because the word comes from him. It comes from him.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're in a lack. Now you are a corruption to his creation.
Right.
You know
It's
what I
like
mean?
Not knowing what love really is.
Exactly.
And then you end up in all of these damaged relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You're living out a false image of who Jesus is.
Right.
He is the creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
He is what all creation comes through. So it's so crazy. Like if you are seeing the wrong thing and you're speaking the wrong thing, well then you're speaking against him.
Mm.
You're speaking against what he is. So it's not that God wants to be against you, it's that you're against him.
Right.
You know? And that's why he's not here. That's why he's in heaven, because he's like, I'm going to wait because I want my people to be with me. I don't want you to be contrary to me. But if I'm with you, it is what it is.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And what isn't is going to have to
It's gonna
go.
have to go. And that means you have to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that takes us away from like just judging so much with
Right.
people, you know what I mean? And just thinking, no, this is what it is. We need this. It's like, yeah, we do need this. But what is that? What is that word that you're talking about?
Right.
Where do we get the meaning from?
Right.
You know what I mean? He's the one that puts the meaning in it. Now, you want to keep
So
going?
we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the
We
security
don't technically
of
need
justice.
the picture.
There was no video for this?
We have also come to this hallowed spot to remind America of the fierce urgency of now. This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism. Now is the time to make real the promises of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time.
He did say brotherhood, right?
Make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summit of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until that is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. But that is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred.
What did he say?
What did he say?
He said, let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred.
And that's what I see a lot happening now, where it's like people are seizing at this opportunity to be like, well, now we have a chance to put you under our thumb and oppress you because we get to put you in your place. You know what I mean? Like, and people are seizing that.
Yeah, and that's vengeance.
Yeah,
and
right.
There's a reason why God says vengeance is mine.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because when we lay that down, then we can learn how to love.
Right.
You know, that's not an easy thing to love somebody who's hating you.
Right.
You know, who's mocking you.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing, but in him, he disciples us in it. And that's the next thing he says. He says we must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. You know, it's about discipling, but that's on a high plane.
Right.
That's with Christ.
Right.
You can't do that when you're engaging in fights because somebody's drawing you in, either through seduction or intimidation, you know, provocation. And that's what happens a lot. You know, you ain't going to tell me that, but it's like when people call you a name and you lash out, but are you that? If you're not that, then why are you moved? It's okay to feel a way about it, but that has to be reconciled with God.
Right.
You know, it's not like you can say, well, that's not who I am, but I feel that. If I really feel that, all I'm doing is suppressing my feelings. My feelings have to be shifted to the way God feels. And that's the process we go through humility. But it won't happen if we're just continually fueling that strange fire.
Right.
That's not his fire. You know what I mean? That's a false fire.
Yeah.
It says we must forever conduct. Oh wait, no, I already said that. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new military, which has engulfed the Negro communities, militancy, not military. The marvelous new militancy that has engulfed the Negro communities must not lead us to a distrust of white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny, and they have come to realize that their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. And that, to me, man, that was so powerful because it's like you can't separate the two.
Yeah.
You know, that's when you look at what Jesus really came to do. He came to bring people all as one, right? One nation, to reconcile all the nations to one new man. Right. And that sounds like a grandiose thing that's never going to really happen. But what if it can? What if we trust in him to do it? You know, and then we can see how, no, we're supposed to be. The whole point of America and the beauty of America is there's no other country that it's possible to do. Just because we got all these things here doesn't mean it's not possible.
Right.
It's possible to do, but we got to believe.
There's a foundation in place that makes it possible.
Right.
Right. What do we got? Oh, Paul made a statement about him being an orator. He was the son, grandson, and great-grandson of Baptist preachers, one of the greatest orators of all time. Yeah. So was that it, or you want me to keep playing this?
That was all I wanted to, like, because that's a lot of what people don't listen to.
Yeah,
they hear the I Have a Dream, but
that's it.
There's so much before that.
Right.
That when you listen to that, man, like I was hearing it earlier and I was crying because it just like really hit me.
Moan looked like he crying over there.
I just got something.
It was really hitting me of that love that he was speaking to.
Yeah.
You know,
and the idea of not going to bitterness, not going to anger, not going to, you know, what, like, it just makes you think, like, all these people, all yesterday, you see everyone quote Martin Luther King, everyone quote, but at the same time,
you pick and choose.
Right.
They're not listening. They're not listening.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they pick and choose what they want. Same thing with Malcolm X. You know,
Yeah.
they pick and choose the things that they want to quote.
Malcolm X was a little more militant though. So
Yeah, but
he
I'm
was
saying
what
like,
he was talking about.
but I'm saying like, you know, how Malcolm X would drop a whole bunch of knowledge about like being weary of the white liberal who tries to be you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
and that's the thing. Like with him,
yeah,
like you got to be able to pull out
right
what people. That's where
he
we
was
can,
showing you the tactics of the ones that
Right.
are pretending to be on your side, but really just want to use you for their cause.
Right.
Which you see still going on to this day. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
And I think, you know, that's why you can't, like, if you're willing to love one another and just not just look at somebody like they're horrible and they're totally wrong.
Mhm.
There's always a connection, but you got to die.
Right.
And then you can see something that you might not have seen before in them that you can connect. Because everybody has wisdom. There's wisdom in things that people do, things that people say.
Yeah.
But if you're so caught up in what they're doing wrong, you can't honor them, you know, for what
Yeah.
they're doing right.
Shout out to Jay Copes. Jay Copes just checked in. He said, "What's up, gang? What up, bro?"
Bro.
What's up, Jay Copes?
Tia said people need to listen to the speech and Malcolm X speech all the way through. Yeah, that's. I mean, I never heard the whole Martin Luther King speech. Like
Yeah.
I knew there was a whole speech to it, but all you ever hear is the "I have a dream" part.
Right.
You never hear the whole speech.
Yeah.
And like
There's so much.
and I think that's on purpose too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, we only want y'all to focus on this part. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Don't focus on everything he said. There's too much unity in that. You know what I mean? There's too much like this part we can take it and like say it's unity, but it's really just the part
But
that
even
we
in
want
that, I Have a Dream, he's talking about little kids playing with, white boys playing with black girls.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
But they don't even play that part. They usually just play the part where it's like, you know, not judged by the content, the color of their skin, but the content of their character.
Right.
Like that's the part that you hear all the time.
right.
You know?
And what I'm saying, the thing that really gets me with what he's saying is that he's pulling from Lincoln. He's pulling from the Constitution,
Right.
from the forefathers.
Mhm.
He's not knocking them. He's honoring them and bringing it to the fullness. That's what we need to do. We need to honor what's come before. Yeah, people were flawed. Yeah, people made mistakes. Who doesn't?
Right.
But we can bring a fulfillment to what we can pick up the cross. We can pick up the torch and bring something and continue in building what stopped. You know, it's not all the stuff that happened for black people in that time kind of like died off. There's a reason why it died off. That was the plan of the enemy to shift things in a way like died off. Literally, Martin Luther King died. Malcolm X died.
Well, we're killed.
Well, yeah, were killed. But
Just to be specific.
yeah, and then they killed hope by giving them false satisfaction.
Right.
They were satisfied with the little that they got in a lot of communities.
Yeah.
Right. These
That's what you
these
said.
consolation prizes.
Lyndon Johnson came in right after that and said, "Okay, all right, so we're gonna help the blacks and give you these programs and
Right. And that's not, I'm not even saying like for people taking it is horrible because sometimes we just don't know and we
Right.
think it's right. But I am saying that there's a better way. And if we trust the one who gives us that way, all those things that our family couldn't do, we can do. You know, we can raise up the foundations of many generations if we continue to seek in his truth.
All right, couple of comments. Saker, energy and frequency that people brings at you sometimes drain your energy to extend that, make you respond. Brother, I know it's wrong, but in the meantime, that's why it takes a lot of, I don't know what he's saying there, not to respond. So the picture energy to God. I guess he's trying to say
What
is
are
like
you reading? Oh.
comment from Saker.
Oh, okay.
I think what he's saying is like people try to draw you into these arguments, you know what I mean, and you feel the need to respond. I've been there many times, you know what I mean. But like that's something that I'm learning to not even be
engaged.
That's what we're learning.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. And then Tia said, listen, pay attention. Everyone may not know, specifically teenagers, so share it with them. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're so caught up in your own life, and if you look at the generations that come up, you're so caught up in your own life that you're really not sharing with your kids the things that they need to know.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not keeping, how do we keep? How do we keep? To guard, to keep.
Mm-hmm.
How do we preserve? That's all the same word, right?
Right.
Shamar in the Hebrew.
Mm-hmm.
How do we keep these things? How do we keep watch? How do we
steward?
Guard? How do we steward? How do we preserve? You have to continue in the things that you've learned,
mm-hmm.
right? If you don't transfer them over to your kids, it gets lost. What?
Mom keeps commenting. Sing us a song.
Oh, I can't see.
Oh, yeah.
It gets lost, and then the next generation, they don't have it.
Right.
And you look at how a lot of things are designed to keep us busy, keep us, focused on this thing, on that thing, and not realize that it's about our own house.
Right.
It starts with our house first. Everything is about everybody's single house. And then we can come together from there.
Tiffany said, yes, come on, sing. And then she posted what looks like an Asian person emoji. I don't know what that is.
Is that me?
No, it's not you too. That's one of the white Asians.
Okay.
It's not you.
I'm too dark.
So we're good with the speech. Anything else anybody want to touch on? Anything else going on that anybody wants to? I didn't have nothing else to talk about.
Yeah. I think I sent you.
You sent me something else?
Everything else, right?
That you just sent me those two things.
Oh, yeah. That's what I sent you.
Tiffany says, sing We Shall Overcome. No. Not singing that. Do y'all want to sing something?
Yeah, we can. It's up to you.
What do you want to do?
Whatever you want to do.
We fall down, but we get up.
I don't know.
What's that face for, John?
Tuning the guitar.
All right, what do y'all want to sing?
Whatever, pick it. What's your feel for what we're doing?
I don't know. Got any requests?
I don't think
over
I
there?
hear the guitar.
Oh, because it's should be hearing it now. It's in that. Look at the channel. Yep.
I unmuted it. I turned it up.
Yeah, I hear it.
You hear it?
Yeah.
Are you getting signal of it?
I don't hear it myself.
Sounds like it went up.
I don't hear it. Are you seeing signal on the board? You sure it's in the? Make sure that last button that's sending it to the main output is pushed in by the next to the fader of the channel. So there's three buttons there. One's going to the sub. One's going to the main. Make sure main is pushed in.
I feel like I'm hearing it from Jamie's mic.
Got it now?
It was already pushed in. I pushed it in again. I don't have any difference in my headphones. Can you hear it? No, right?
I think so.
I mean, it might be coming from the mic, but
Yeah, I think it is.
Where is it?
I only see signal when you talk. I don't see it from the guitar. I think that's from your anything. It's from your mic.
What about
Oh,
now?
I hear it.
there you
Okay.
go. Oh my.
I love the song.
All right, we're gonna do that one more time.
Do you have reverb?
Yeah, hit the button. Show the reverb button, John.
Two.
All right, let's do that one more time. Who am I to judge? Who am I to deny love? Who am I to try and pick your world apart? But I refuse to be deceived by imposters and the thieves that attempt to gain an entrance in my heart. No, they won't take this ground. Their words won't leave me bound. No, I won't be moved. My roots are firmly sound. Soon they'll find out who am I. Maybe there's more to me. Maybe there's more that lies beneath. Maybe even my dreams have been diseased. Maybe I can learn to love without fear of being judged, without fear of all the world rejecting me. Yeah, I'm taking this ground. No, my words will not fall down. I can see my future breaking through these clouds. Hey, I'll find it out. Who am I? Who am You may take me as a fool, 'cause I view life different than you. But hold your tongue, don't let it run off with illusions in my back. Yeah, they try to hold me back, but they can't see it. They won't see it, no, telling me to turn around, 'cause I can't take these giant steps. But who am I? thank you everybody for tuning in this evening. Put the guitar back. Appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you everybody who've been sitting here the whole time. Tiffany said beautiful. I love the song. I love to hear By the River too. Mom said beautiful guys. Oh man, I wish you guys. She said yes. Tia said that high note. Paul Horner, fire emoji. Thank you guys. We appreciate you. Listen,
Man, listening
What?
to that song,
What?
it's just there's so much in there for
There
like
is.
what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
Who am I to judge? Who am I to deny love?
Yep. Who am I to try to pick your world apart?
Right.
Yes.
I refuse to be deceived by imposters and the thieves that attempt to gain an entrance in my heart. Yeah, it's timely.
And if you haven't seen that video, please go check that video out.
Yes.
I know it plays sometimes on here, but really watch.
Yeah,
that
go to
video.
YouTube, dude. That video, I forgot.
It's a great video.
We had a nice concept for that video, and we had a really good director from England come in and shoot it. We shot it all in New York, and it's it's about everything that people are upset about, and
how there's always
another
one side, but
Yeah.
then there's a right side
Yeah, exactly.
to the story. And
there's nuance to everything.
Yeah.
And people get so easily herded into a camp or a team.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we gotta be more cognizant of that, like when we're being herded. And I think a lot of people are starting to wake up from that.
and that end, you may take me as a fool,
Yeah.
because I view life different than you.
Yeah.
But hold your tongue, don't let it run off with illusions in my path.
Yeah.
And it's the giants,
Yeah.
telling me to turn around because I can't take them
these giants down.
And it's not us.
Right.
And that's what people go, who am I is really an ode to
Right.
Jesus. And
Yeah.
it's like, who are we apart from Jesus? Who are we?
Right.
We're nothing without him, but with him, it's all possible. And yeah, the giants can be taken down. And that's what it's about right now. Because you see so many things that it's like, well, what do we do? This seems too grand. It seems too much.
Yeah.
It seems like this is out of control.
Right.
Like,
we can't do anything to change this.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Yeah.
but it's all in him. We gotta
But who am I?
trust. Yep.
Yeah.
That's so today. I'm getting hit by the Spirit right now.
That's
Praise
right,
you,
man.
Jesus.
Yeah.
You may take me as a fool because I view life different than you. Isn't that today?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
He's good, man.
Yeah.
He's good. That's the thing. Like, if you don't know he's good, then there's something wrong. If you can't see his goodness, there's something wrong.
And that's the thing about these songs, that when it comes from him, because they constantly mean something more to us every time we hear them.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's never like, oh yeah, it's about this one time I was, doing a thing here, and then you know what I mean? It's like it's like that song.
It comes from that eternal place.
We could do that song
It's
20
like a Bible.
years from
It's
now.
like a Bible verse.
You know what I'm saying?
New revelation
and
every
it means
time.
something different. It means something more. The same thing with By the River. I know Tiffany was asking to do that. Maybe we'll do it next time.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you, Paul Horner. Yes,
Thank you,
prophetic
boss.
words, powerful message. It's his message.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I don't want to. It's not about like, oh, our songs are so great. Like, look at, no, it's really about like they speak to us.
Yeah.
They speak to us because it's not us. It's a prophetic flow. Exactly, it's a prophetic flow, and it comes from him, and we're just speaking what he's revealing. And that's what's so beautiful. That's what music. It's his expression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's how he expresses to us.
When we have a new song, like the stuff we've been writing that we're working on now, like I was working on, what are we fighting for? And it's like when I can be working on a song, working on a mix, working on just editing guitar parts, and the song is hitting me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm focused on something, but it's still hitting me. That's when it's like, yo, this is not. Yeah, you know what I mean? This is not us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when you send me like the new mix and I listen to it and I start crying. It's my voice, but it's not You know what I mean?
Right.
It's not me. It's
Yeah.
I'm hearing what God is saying to me.
Yeah.
And it's like
It's the
I just
song is
break
speaking
down,
to
man.
You.
Yeah,
It's you speaking to you. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's his goodness, man.
I'm excited about this new stuff we've been working on, though, man. Like, it's really, really good music. Can't wait to get it all done.
I love Open. That's my joint.
Me too, man. I listen to that one all the time. All right, guys.
All right, we love you guys.
Yeah. Thank you guys for
God
sticking
bless
it out
you.
with us. Listen, keep sharing this content. Keep tuning in every week. And listen, if the spirit moves you and you want to support this, you want to support what we're doing and the message that we're trying to put out there, there's a lot of ways you can do it. You can go to our Patreon and you can become a member, and you can just there's ways to sign up and sew in every month. You can just give a little bit every month. I think the membership is like $5 a month. You can sign up and just give $5 a month, and it just goes to whatever we're trying to build here. We're trying to get new equipment. We're always buying stuff, trying to make it look better and sound better and everything like that. So if you want to do that, or just sewing into what we've been talking about, and so we can reach more people, you can do it that way. But the easiest thing to do is just share the video. Like the content, share the video, go subscribe on our YouTube channel, and keep tuning in every week. But we appreciate all of y'all. We also have merch on our website, jatan.com, and our music will always be posted up there. But we're looking to do special stuff for y'all that have been supporting us every week, and give you guys some exclusive things. But yeah, we appreciate y'all. We love you. We'll see you next week. Hold on, I gotta hit this for John because he's going. If I don't do it, we love y'all. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. You're watching Young Lion TV.
Young Lion, go live, yeah. Young Lion, you rich, yeah. This kingdom has room, yeah. Go and fight people in, woo.